SilmFilm Script Discussion Season 2, Episode 2. Thanks for coming back in. Yeah, so we've kind of worked out a basic synopsis for where we're going. We've got a kind of a structure. We're gonna try to hang some tapestry on it. Aha! Let's work out this introduction of Galadriel. This is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful being in Middle Earth at the time. At least second, Sauron.
Right. Did we decide that he's gonna build a house? Is that what we're going with? He's gonna build something and we'll kick the can, as we always do.
I was thinking more of an item of jewelry.
I feel like it's early for jewelry.
Yeah?
Yeah. Plus, it seems really corny that Muriel comes on board because she's like, oh, a diamond ring. Well, gosh.
Well, I think that it helps him illustrate his point that we have a lot to learn from these people. They're not here to. Right. They're not there to harm us. They're going, and if he doesn't have an actual material thing to bring back.
I do think it would be cool if he brought her a gift. I don't know if a ring is...
I'm not saying a ring. I'm thinking more of a necklace, a little circlet, a thingy, a bauble.
Right, but his angle should not be, here, I brought you this thing, so we can go now. It should be...
A tapestry showing their new house in Valinor. But
that'd be kind of cool.
But there's a little bit of an issue here. Yeah, no, it's got Vyre in it. I get that.
I like that a lot. I mean, I think he should come back. I think they all actually should come back with stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they should come back and not just be like, hey, this is a really good idea. They shouldn't just come back and be like, hey, it's really good. Let's all go now.
Okay, well, let's think about this for a second. I do like the tapestry idea, but that means that we kind of have to have him already sold on the Valinor idea by that point. So we show him working with Ale to shop, and that's what gets him on.
I don't think he should necessarily, like, right before they leave, Elway's all, oh, here, come meet this guy who knows how to make stuff. Like, that's not insane to me. Like, he's gonna meet all of them. You know, they're all gonna be there to welcome them, right?
What if we give
introduced? Remember, we got centuries to play with. They said centuries go by, and the three ambassadors.
And they were never heard from again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So when they come back, it shouldn't just be like, hey, we're back, and everything is great, so we should all go. They should bring crap. Okay. They should be laden with booty and be like, dudes, check out all this cool stuff.
Well,
that
awesome. Makes it a little bit more
right now.
Okay. I don't necessarily know that Ingwe wins the Vanyar over with promises of material benefits.
But his gifts can be of a different nature, right? His gifts can be knowledge and scholarship and, you know, priestly things.
Well, he's kind of the one that I see. He's kind of the one that I see bringing back something like a tapestry, to be honest with you. But here's my suggestion. What if instead of it being Elway that comes to him and says, hey, there's somebody I want you to meet? Mm-hmm. What if it's Ingwe? And Ingwe brings him to meet Vyre?
That would be kind of neat, except we still have the problem of Vyre doesn't say nothing.
She doesn't have to. Because up until this point, maybe there's been no visually artistic medium that you could transport for the elves. Right. Okay? Shut up, England. Maybe
that's kind of a cool scene. Maybe she already has the tapestry for him. Like, it's already made when he comes to meet her for the first time, and she gives it to him.
And it's a depiction of what, right. A Valinor, maybe?
Well, of Valinor and his life with Muriel in Valinor. Not super detailed anything.
No, but having the two of them like standing outside a house somewhere, because that's going to happen. Virae can see that.
Yeah.
I think I like that.
That would be kind of neat. Where she doesn't. That way, she doesn't have to say anything. He just sees the tapestry and he's like, "Oh, okay. This actually works. I can see this. I can literally see it, right?" That would be. That would be fun.
And if he doesn't, like, it would be interesting because maybe he's asking her questions and she's just not saying a word. So Ingwe leaves him with her. Ingwe leaves him with her and then leaves, and Finway's sitting there like, "Oh, how are you?" And he's talking to her, and she doesn't say a word. And yes, it's gonna need some fantastically great music because he's gonna see it start to take shape on the loop, right? I don't know what that looks like, to be honest.
I think.
Well, maybe a time
I think he has a religious experience with Virae, where he is like, she doesn't say anything to him. That he just kind of looks at her and he's kind of overwhelmed, and she brings him this thing and hands it to him, and he's like, "I know who this is for. I know who to give this to."
Well, maybe he can be watching it take shape, and we can show like a time-lapse shot of the thing being created, and then she hands it to him.
I think she should already have it. Like that this seems like an appropriate moment for foresight.
I get that, but even if she doesn't have it, she's never actually physically seen Muriel.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if she doesn't have it yet, because I mean, it would be really fantastic to actually show it being made, and we can have flashes of her weaving it throughout the episode. That would be kind of cool. Although people would be wondering, why is? I mean, I guess that's part of the beauty of it.
I think the reason why I say it should already be made is it makes her look very, very foresighted, but it also gives us the opportunity to avoid having to figure out like what is going on with it, like, because she can't say anything. So like it's way better in my mind that she mysteriously just has this gift to give him. Like, they should be getting gifts all episode from everybody. Everyone should have something for them to either do or for them to take back. And her thing is, like, she hasn't given anything to anybody, and she gives him this.
I don't know.
Out in the background, and this is her thing that she gives to the one that is the most on the fence about it. Like, look, this is all really cool and stuff, and I'm really amazed.
Wait a minute.
But I don't see.
Where's Muriel's body? Muriel's body winds up in Lorien, right? While she's spaced out.
Yep.
Okay. What if it's actually just a picture of Muriel in the Gardens of Lorien?
Like walking or sleeping?
I would say at least standing.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't really see him being on board
if she's sleeping. Like, that's why it's okay. Why is this a good idea? I don't know. But here's my case for it being made in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really like the idea of that shot of us seeing in time lapse this image being created through weaving. Because I don't know if that's ever been shown on film, to my knowledge. It probably has somewhere, but I don't think nothing I can think of. And I think that it's a way of making that sequence extend a little bit further so that it's going to resonate. Okay, because if he just shows up, she doesn't speak to him, and then just hands him something, that's like a 2-minute tops.
Oh, yeah. No, 2 minutes is being generous. That would require a lot of very elaborate blocking. I can kind of see where you're headed, like, but for me, the setup for that then is that that they share kind of a moment.
Yeah,
In
no,
in
I'm on board with that.
where she's like super mysterious, but they clearly look at each other, and he's like he's uncomfortable about what she's like, oh, I know what I need to do. Like that, she doesn't obviously say that to anybody, but she kind of gives her husband maybe a knowing look, and then excuses herself from the party. They're in like at their initial meeting where all of the Valar are there and like check out this awesome place, right?
I want to say that I think that Viray isn't there when they greet each other. It will give more impact to her.
She has to be there to see them. Like it's dumb if she doesn't show up to see the three ambassadors. Like she's one of the Valar. She
She's
needs
seen
to
them
be.
already.
I get that, but she needs to be there to like. We're introducing everybody. Like
We're
and
reintroducing
Mandos
so
has a
that we
wife,
know
but she
who they
didn't
are.
come. Like that's crap. You know, she needs to be there for a minute, and then like I get where you're going with it, where it's like that's how farsighted she is, but like it doesn't track well with like when like Mandos's wife is not going to be there when the first three elves show up. Give me a break. Like, it just doesn't feel right.
Okay, that's fair, and it kind of gives us a moment to kind of reintroduce all of the Valar again because we haven't really seen all of them in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think that having them like go down the line and meet all of them, that's going to get a little awkward.
No. We don't need to do that. Like, we don't have to reintroduce everyone for the audience's sake. They can just all be there in a big circle, and we kind of see the whole cast in one shot, and that would be really great. And then it breaks up into mingling, I guess. Mingling with lesser Maiar and stuff, and then Finwë and Viray have their little moment, and then she leaves, like what I mean, where she's excusing herself from the party early to get started on the thing that she's got to make.
Alex has suggested we should see flashes of the weaving montage occasionally through the episode, but they shouldn't meet. But they shouldn't meet until she gives it to him. This resolves the question of what was all that about. Makes her look foresighted and sidesteps the talking thing. I can agree with that. Do we want to? If we do that, do we want to make note of the fact that she wasn't there? Do we want to have somebody?
I think she needs to be there, and they need to see each other, but he doesn't have any. He's not formally introduced. They don't have a nice to meet you, shake hands moment. She's there at the introduction. They have a little, welcome to Valinor thing. These are the Valar. This is our land. And then she just kind of leaves. From that moment until he's getting ready to leave, she basically is sequestered and doing her thing. So for however long it takes them to from that initial meeting of everybody to kind of wander around and see everything, Viray does not come out of her little weaving room.
Okay.
That's how I'm seeing it.
I mean, I think I get the idea that she's there to greet them at the official greeting ceremony.
Right.
But she doesn't speak. We might zoom in on her in particular so that we can see some kind of
there should be
a moment where she sees something and she has to maybe she puts her hand on Mando's
like the ambassadors is a religious moment for her. You know what I mean? Where she's like, oh, yeah, they need to. Where they're gonna come, like the elves will come, and this is how it happens. You know what I mean?
So she puts her hand on Mando's arm and then walks off while they're still talking and chatting and
and
all that good stuff.
I would have a counter shot where she's walking off and she glances at Finwë and Finwë meets her gaze and that's it.
Yeah.
And it makes him uncomfortable, Like, he doesn't know what just happened.
Okay.
But he knows that it's a big deal.
All right. Let's. Okay. I like that as 2 thumbs up. What else we got going on? Fantastic. That's exactly kind of where I was going, Alan. All right. We need to nail down some specifics. I think we've kind of.
Let's go to your Galadriel.
We've got a skeleton. We've skeleton. Let's put some muscles on it. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to your Galadriel thing. What are we doing?
Okay.
So I think her relationship with Celeborn is gonna be kind of a reverse mirror of Finwë and Miriel. Yeah, because Galadriel is definitely the one. I mean, she's kind of doing the same thing where she needs to. She's like, okay, we need to go. And he's like, well, I'm not so sure about that, you know. Like, that's kind of, the relationship is similar, but not identical, but similar enough that I think that's kind of how shouldn't be inviting the audience to think of it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I can see some of that going on, but I'm not entirely. I think that's going to kind of break down a few times, but in this episode, there had been talk of there being some kind of celebration that's taking place. One which in the frame, one which the Noldor and maybe some of the Sindarin elves partake, but some of the lesser, the more Morroquendi elves have no interest in whatsoever. And because there's separation of church and state in Lothlorien, apparently, Galadriel doesn't force anybody to take part in this. She's aware of that this has been an issue, has been a point of contention, and so rather than making it a big deal that a bunch of the elves want nothing to do with this, she goes ahead with the celebration to honor whoever they're honoring. I think somebody had suggested Barda being the one, but Arwen doesn't really understand this. Like, she doesn't understand how it's weird to her, coming from a more homogenized culture in Rivendell, that the elves, that there could be this dichotomy.
You know what I would actually prefer to that is that
I was saying it's not a Morroquendi festival. It's a Calaquendi festival.
Right. I would actually prefer that it be a Morroquendi festival in the sense that the serial numbers have kind of been filed off of it.
Okay.
Where in Rivendell it's very explicitly a celebration of Varda. And then in Lorien, it's kind of more like a generic harvest festival, because it seems bizarre that there would be a public separation that way, because they are one people in Lorien, right? Like, they're not. There's no separation of, you know what I mean? I would hate for it to feel like, I don't want it to feel like it's, you know, Christians celebrating Christmas and the Jews are all just kind of like, okay, well, there they go again, the friggin' Gentiles with their Christmas thing that takes a month and a half, right?
Considering their holidays 8 days, I don't think they really have.
Yeah, exactly.
A thing there, but, yeah.
Well, they started that, but whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would be it's easier to. It's less hostile if everyone is celebrating it, but they've just kind of, they don't really make mention of Varda so much in the in this. You know what I mean? Like it
So
feels more
you're saying
inclusive.
that you're basically saying that they're celebrating Xmas rather than Christmas.
Exactly. Like it's not that some people have chosen to separate themselves and not, you know, join in any communion. It's that they haven't made it like such a big deal that like, oh, Varda is the super important part of this
Marta
festival.
is the reason for the
Right,
season.
exactly. There's no put the Christ back in Christmas. Like they've just kind of let it become, which to me is funny because you know how many Christian holidays are have a pagan equivalent. It's kind of the opposite direction, and it's a little bit more accessible to modern audiences. I think modern audiences will get that idea, and it'd be interesting to see Arwen be the one to kind of be super confused and you know where's the Varda tree or whatever. I don't know.